What is the creepiest unexplained thing you have ever come across on the internet? Story 1. As a teenager looking for pee, I stumbled across a website which looked like one of those live cam sites. But then I noticed most of the people weren't engaging with the audience, and they were all kinds of people. Old people, kids, people of all different ages, ethnicities, and whatnot. I clicked on a random live stream of some oblivious teenager doing her homework, and the people in the comments were saying stuff that made me realize she didn't know she was being live streamed, nor did anyone else on the site. It seemed to be some weird website of hacked webcams or security cameras where the people had no idea about it. It was creepy as F, and I've never kept my webcam pointed at me when not in use since. Story 2. I rang my mom on WhatsApp to do a video call. When she answered, it was a man with his shirt off, middle-aged, 50s, with glasses on, sitting on a couch. It sort of looked like a hotel room. He had a foreign accent and said, "Yes? Hello? Who is this?" I hung up immediately and rang my mom again, and she picked up, and she was on camera walking around near a pond. It was absolutely bizarre and has never happened again. These theories about my mum having an affair or teleporting from this bloke's room to the pond are both salacious and hilarious. Keep them coming, the more outrageous the better. Story 3. So I decided to just type in something like mm.com or something like it. Coca-Cola used to, or still does, own a URL like that. But just the same letter maybe 13 to 15 times. It came to a choppy video of a movie called South 32. It was cryptic and edited to just say, South 32, over and over again, for 4 hours. So I tried a different letter. Same thing. And another letter. Same thing. The same website popped up for maybe 20 different URLs in that type of sequence. I tried submitting it to the Internet Mysteries subreddit, but it didn't gain any traction, and I don't believe it works anymore. This must have been 4 years ago now. Story 4. A lady on Gaia Online got mad at me in Chatterbox. So she went on my profile and spammed it with gifs of someone beating a dog to death with a shovel. I remember seeing the first one and crying a lot because at the time I was like 11 or 12. She sent like 10 before I got her blocked and later banned. I had to manually delete each comment from my public profile. Each GIF was from a different point in the same video. It was really sad, and I didn't go back onto my PC for a long time. Story 5. Was casually surfing when I stumbled upon a video of a guy doing shotgun loading tutorials or something. The video was cut half and he was speaking another language, and the gun accidentally went off and he blew his head clean off. I don't remember the website name or anything. I was just surfing funny videos to pass the time when I saw this. The amount of blood that went flying everywhere was horrible. I was just 11 when I saw this, so it practically scarred me bad. It still chills me when I think about it. Story 6. My girlfriend at the time texted me a link to a local news article involving a trial taking place that day. At the top of the article was a picture of my girlfriend sitting in the courtroom. I expressed surprise since she hadn't mentioned going to court. She definitely would have told me, and then in anticipation of it, asked me a bunch of questions, as I am in the legal field. She responded, "That's not me." We never did find out who it was. The woman who looked like my girlfriend was not the only person in the photo. She was not even the primary subject of the photo. She was sitting in the gallery with a number of other people. Story 7. Up late one night scrolling through Reddit. Came across a post where someone confessed to killing a classmate of theirs, totally casually. Actually ended having a conversation with this person. They were 100% dead serious about the situation but feel they weren't at fault for the death of the person. Pretty creepy. Not sure if it was actually true, but if not, they did a pretty good job at making it seem legit. Story 8. I changed the email address attached to my Amazon account. A year later I forgot and tried to sign into my account with old email address. The same password worked, but it was someone else's account. Name and address was different, and the guy hadn't bought anything. Why did he use my old email? It was unique to me and didn't match his name, and how did the password end up the same as mine? Story 9. I didn't come across it, but once when I was around 15 someone hacked into my computer. This is 100% true, and I tell it as a cautionary tale often. I had a FTP file server at the time because I was in a long-distance relationship, and we would send stuff to each other via the file server. One day I noticed someone had downloaded all of my photos from the server. I called my boyfriend and asked him why he was downloading stuff he already had. He swore it wasn't him. I ignored it until several days later a screen opened on my desktop that was a window for my webcam and was on with me on the screen, and a chat window opened. The person told me that if I didn't take all my clothes off they would use my mom and dad's credit cards to buy all sorts of things. Luckily my parents were super cautious of using their credit cards on the internet. This was like 2002, so I knew he didn't have their card #S. He had used the FTP server to upload this chat/video program, and who knows how long they had been watching me. I freaked out. I unplugged my computer and unplugged it from the internet, and didn't turn it back on until I was prepared with fancy firewalls and security for the FTP server. I tried calling to police and my internet provider, but no one could help me. And that's how I learned hundreds of IP addresses and what they were. I watched my firewall like a hawk. I never heard from the hacker again, but it sure scared the shit out of me. Now I cover my webcams. Story 10. When I was a kid, I had some serial that had website to visit to enter to win some prize or something. I don't remember the specifics. Anyway, when I entered that site into my computer, it didn't take me to some kid-friendly site or anything. It took me to a blank white page with just the text. "We have been watching you." Story 11. One time I was listening to my music playlist on Spotify, and the song stopped, and I heard a statusy woman voice go, "If anyone can hear this please respond, we don't have much time, there." And it cut off and my music started playing again. I don't have ads and it wasn't in between songs, it was in the middle of Bohemian Rhapsody when I was playing Rocket League. Story 12. Not the creepiest but definitely up there. There is a YouTuber that liked exploring abandoned mines, caves and wells on his own and would always record it with GoPro and other cameras. There is an abandoned mine he went down, and when he was really deep he started hearing frantic whispering that sounded like multiple people behind him. If you've ever watched a Goose supernatural horror movie you'd know exactly the type of whispering, and it was very clearly heard on the video. However, when he shined his helmet light behind him, the whispering stopped, and he noped out of there. That man has balls made from adamantium. He never screamed or panicked, just made his way out calmly, but you could tell he was scared as all get out. Story 13. This isn't the internet but more on a call. I was on a call with my girlfriend who was in Germany at that time, early 2019, when suddenly she seemed to be repeating what she was saying from a while back. I got confused and was trying to ask her why she was repeating herself before I realized that her voice was being looped back. I didn't realize the loop point or how far back it was, but she was clearly saying the same lines as she did before. When I hung up and called her back, she asked me why I hung up on her and didn't call me back. Then during the second call, it happened again after 3 minutes. I've never been able to explain why this happened and has never occurred again before or since. Definitely gave me the creeps and more than a few thoughts that I was living in a simulation. Story 14. This happened last month. I was watching random stuff on YouTube when suddenly I started listening to guys talking with a calm music in the background. One of the guys had a strong Russian accent. They seemed to be playing something. I thought it was some whitey video I opened, but it wasn't. I started to close everything until everything was closed. There was only Steam open, but I wasn't in any voice chat or anything, and no media was playing, like Stream or anything like that. It seemed to be some private call I got in. So I closed Steam and the two guys talking stopped, so I guess somehow I got into a random Steam private voice call. Story 15. My GF and I have a private Minecraft world that we played by opening a LAN party using Hamachi when we lived away from each other. This requires the other player to enter the designated IP address and LAN code. Keep in mind the LAN code changed every time you play Minecraft to enter the multiplayer game. One day, we were on a call playing when we saw an unrecognized gamer tag join the game. We went dead silent out of shock, I think. We then saw him run across the grass toward us, so we both quit out immediately before he could chase us. It was pretty creepy even if it's just a video game. Something about the invasion was just off-putting. This will probably get buried, but it goes back a ways in the days of the internet. Back in late 90s I was young and was cruising around the net looking for S material. As a kid you would always hear ads about live S over the phone. You would call a number and then talk to a girl for money. The ads were on late night TV and such. I was on some old P-Link sites that would not have images but loads of links, 28K/56K, connection days. Images took a bit to download, so P-Links just had words and links, etc. I remember seeing links for phone S calls. My brain said, oh shit, I can listen and finally figure out what that was like. Probably pretty good spank material, right? Well, I clicked a link or two and after a few minutes the audio file was downloaded. On the recording was a girl with a sultry voice and some guy. I was thinking, oh man, this is gonna be good. She was all slutty sounding and moaning. Except after a minute or so the conversation turned towards poop. Literal poop. They were talking about taking big poop, and how could so much poop fit through your butthole, etc. There I was, like 13 with my duck in my hand thinking, what the F am I listening to? Instant be killer. They went on and on talking about touching poop, molding it, touching it, plopping sounds when it splashed in a toilet, what it would taste like. It's one of those things that I will never understand, and it left me so confused about life for a bit. Paying money to call AS to visit your scat fetish. Big yikes. Story 17. I worked with this dude named Jerry. He was a Mexican from Tijuana. He had a bunch of tattoos that looked like they were not done at a tattoo parlor, if you know what I mean. He was standing on the line one day. We worked in a kitchen, watching something on his phone. I went over and asked him what he was watching. He said it was a blog for ex-cartel members or gang members or something. He was watching a live stream of bunch of guys getting their heads chopped off with machetes out in the desert somewhere. Yeah, I kinda stayed away from Jerry after that.